everybody, and thanks for joining us for another episode of the PHNX Suns podcast, brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook app, America's #1 sportsbook app. Don't forget to hit that like button, but for real though, hit that like button. Subscribe wherever you get to listen to your podcast and leave us a 5-star review. I'm Lindsay Smith, here with Saul Bookman, Gerald Bourget, and Espo. How you guys feeling on this Tuesday afternoon?
Good.
Better if I could get this mic right. I never can get this thing right.
It happens to the best of us, Espo. We feel you. Gerald, how you doing?
Feeling fine. I'm already like preemptively annoyed just based on some of the box score watchers tweeting about preseason basketball from last night.
Oh boy.
Already annoyed.
Well, this is a safe space, so let's talk about it.
Yeah.
Suns preseason continued last night. They played in Denver against the Nuggets and lost 105-107. What's the biggest beef you've got going on right now, Gerald, with the box score watching?
I just saw the tweets already. Like the Suns lost to the Nuggets without Jamal Murray, Nikola Jokic, and Kentavious Caldwell-Pope. And it's like the starters didn't play past the midway point of the third quarter. Like, why are we doing this again? I like the Adelaide loss. I get it. But like, we're doing this again with a preseason game against an NBA team. Like, why?
Because it's the Nuggets, and a lot of those people in your mentions are Nuggets fans trying to act like something special happened last night when it was freaking Ish Smith beating a bunch of fourth stringers. Congratulations, Denver.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to hear it from a fan base that has 0 NBA Finals appearances to their name, but that's just me.
Yeah, and
0.
I'm sorry if we're just a box score watcher last night, but all you had to do was sign up for the free trial of League Pass, and you could watch the damn game if you wanted. So
Yeah.
make the effort, people.
But it's preseason.
It's preseason.
It's
I know.
preseason.
It's entirely irrelevant.
I saw some stupid posts about the game, and that's all I needed to see to be like, all right, okay,
Yeah.
This is why I hate preseason, because cool, you're the preseason champs. Congratulations. Move the fuck along.
We did see some positive things.
Mhm.
Mikal Bridges shooting threes last night looked really great from deep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, watching that in that first quarter and that second quarter, you felt good about where Mikal was offensively. If they want to have a good year, they're going to need Mikal to hit those on the regular. So
Yeah, I love that he just had a quick trigger. He's shown that in the first 2 games as well. I love that the team as a whole took 37 3-pointers. Like that's where they need to be on a nightly basis. They didn't shoot well. They only made 12, which was like 32%. But like they need to be shooting that much. What is
And
what
just
is so
laughing at the
funny?
chat.
Okay.
Yeah, there's
Sorry.
a comment in the chat that has just completely thrown me off.
What's that?
There is a nasty rumor circulating on the internet that Lindsay Smith puts paprika on her ice cream.
Oh,
Peyton
man.
has good sources on that. Is what
that-
I'm told.
Peyton would have good sources, but these sources are incorrect. I do not put paprika on my
You
ice
put
cream.
smoked
I
paprika
put
on there?
paprika on my deviled eggs,
Sure,
but
that's
yeah.
normal.
that's about it.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Sorry, Peyton, your sources are incorrect today.
Back to the 3-point shooting. The worst of the. I don't know where to go. with it.
Moving on from
We can-
paprika.
We can talk about Lindsay's paprika habit.
Speaking of spice,
Paprika habit. You could put it in a nice baba ganoush if you want. I don't care.
Mhm.
But Devin Booker struggled from behind the arc more than anybody. He was 2 of 9. So you talk
Sorry.
about 30%,
Mhm.
32% for the team. A lot of that was Devin, and I'm not concerned with Devin shooting in the preseason.
No, not only that. The good thing that I did like was the fact that DA was pretty aggressive, and he should be without Jokic in there. He should be aggressive, and DA is matched up with Jokic fairly well over the years. Even Jokic has said that. So like everybody just calm down. Like it's not a big deal. Who gives a shit if they lost? I really don't care.
Right. DA played really well on both ends too. He had 19 and 11 in 27 minutes, 9 to 12 from the field, 3 steals, 1 block. Like he was all over the place on both ends. That's exactly what we like to see out of him. It would have been nice, obviously, to get the starters back in the fourth, but again, this is an irrelevant game. Monty's trying to slowly ratchet up their minutes back towards their normal territory. And the starters, for the most part in preseason, have looked pretty good. Like Booker hasn't shot the ball well, and we can nitpick this and that, but like the starting unit has been fine, which we all suspected would be the case. So I'm encouraged by that. I'm encouraged by taking more 3-pointers, I'm encouraged by Bridges and Ayton being more assertive in their offense. The only downside is it would have been nice to have a healthy Cam Johnson the whole time to get that group a little more cohesion.
Yeah, I feel like we're going to say that a lot this year, though.
I hope not.
That's the big question, right? Is there any concern? Because I know coming into the NBA, that was one of the things that followed Cam during like the whole draft process, but it was more so for his hip, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Like injury prone being. And I mean, a lot of it could just be really bad luck, like terrible timing for certain things like this. But do you guys have any concern that Cam Johnson is quote unquote injury prone?
Yes.
I don't think he's injury prone, but I do have concern about him holding up at the 4 because he does take lumps a certain way. And I don't know, like all of them have been like fluke things that like he got a dead leg that lasted for like a month, or he stubbed his finger or whatever it was on a basketball on a random play. Like those things you can't really help. But at the same time, I do understand your point as far as like we are concerned about durability wise. This guy playing the 4 full time now against starting 4s, bigger, stronger dudes. Is he going to hold up over a whole season? I hope so, but we need to see it first.
I mean, again, it's been a repetitive process. He has missed games in every single season, and some of these injuries are just like, damn, like they're almost like the quad injury. Like that's kind of a fluky injury. But what sometimes happens a lot is guys that are injury prone are prone to fluky injuries, which is, look at Anthony Davis. Like the guy takes one awkward step and all of a sudden his groin shatters into a million pieces. Like that's just the way he's built. Cam Johnson's not on that level, but this is going to affect, to me, I think that this is what's going to determine whether or not Cam Johnson gets a Mikal Bridges type contract or if he gets significantly less. Because if you can't rely on him, like, listen, if these guys get into a nice groove and then he gets injured again, and then they got to build him back into the rotation, and then they get him back into another groove, and then he gets injured again, like, you can only go to that well so many times before you're like, all right, listen, guy, like, we love you to death, but we're not paying you premium dollars when you're not even available for the premium times.
You brought up an interesting thing, Gerald, durability versus injury prone. Like, I don't think Cam's injury prone because I think chronic injuries, like we expected that, but he's not durable. These little things do start to add up. And before you know it, it's 25, 30 games that he's missed in a season. And this year more than ever, I think that's going to be a big deal because you don't have anybody to back that up. You're not like, and now that he's in the starting lineup, I mean, you're very thin there. So I think that's going to cause issues, just even if it's a handful of injuries here or there. What you have to hope is he's durable come playoff time.
Right. And he has been for the most part. Like the timing of that injury last year obviously hampered his play a little bit heading into the postseason. And he was saying like, yeah, I do wish I had a little more time to come back before the playoffs started. But like, he's not like some super injury prone dude. Like he's missed 15 games, 22 games, and 16 games over his first 3 years, which is significant, but not like a guy that's constantly on the injury report. The problem is the timing of it. It's always been like in the middle of a season or right when he was catching a groove. And in this case, it's right before the season starts when they're, trying to implement this newer starting lineup and don't have Jay Crowder to make up for that lack of depth. So like the timeliness has been really unfortunate. I think it makes it stand out more than it normally would.
He's, Brian in the chat said he's Cam Disney, which is my nickname for A Disney, which is AD. He's not Cam Disney yet, but he is like Cam Looney Tunes right now, which is getting kind of close.
Yeah.
Okay, back to Denver and the preseason game last night. Brian also said Jock was amazing, even though he had a bad game. Espo, I know when we all came into the office, you were like, did you see that one Jock play?
Oh, look. Landale's Landing's getting a little expensive to move into. There's a play in the fourth. I don't know if you guys caught it last night, but Jock got the steal, dribbled. He got the steal in the Denver side of the court, dribbled, kicked it to teammate, and then the first thing he did was give him the I'm going up, and they alley-ooped it for a dunk. And I was like, all right, this is a guy that's heady enough to have an impact. It wasn't the greatest game from him, but he still does the little things. He hustles, and I think that's why his teammates and Monty are falling in love with him. I think he's solidified that backup 5 at this point because Bismack has hardly gotten into any of these games at this point. Dario was playing 4 when he was in and playing. I think Jacques your backup center.
It's the versatility.
Yeah.
It's the versatility, and that's the reason why Jacques is going to end up being the backup 5 is because Bismack, he does not give you the flexibility to be able to play on the perimeter, and Jacques does. And that's the biggest difference between the two right now. And Jacques is a little bit more fundamentally sound with his game. He can pass better than Bismack. He can't attack the rim better than Bismack right now. But Bismack relies heavily on getting good positions set up by other people, whereas Jacques can do a little bit more with the ball. So that's why he's going to get the advantage. And he seems to be a great team player. He's he's been on our show. He was a great team player here because he went after Espo, which is fantastic.
Everybody knows on that
I mean, it's a win-win for all of us.
I need to know if it's just that the two of them instantly bonded, but he's gone after Mikal a lot on social too. So I need to know, is this just because the two of them are on the same playing field as far as their pettiness, trolling, goofiness, or what's going on? Or did he just know, like, hey, Mikal's a fan favorite, so if I can make this a thing, maybe I can be a fan favorite?
I think they're on the same wavelength as far as being like goofy like that.
Yeah.
Like you can just tell by the report talking about Vegemite and all these random different things. Like they'll bring each other up randomly, or like Mikal will be talking and Jock will come over and listen to what Mikal's having to say. And they've got that rapport already. So Jock is helping us save the vibes around here for all the people that are concerned about the locker room and all that. But yeah, I think the floor spacing element that he provides, especially when you're looking at the second unit and campaign, is huge because Monty's talked about last year going to rim rolling bigs kind of clogged things up for Payne when he got downhill. Having that floor spacer gives him more lanes to attack off the bounce, and that's helpful for Payne, who can kind of have problems with tunnel vision at times or going too fast when he attacks. So I think Landale will help in that regard, and he definitely looks like he has that backup center spot to himself at this point.
I've been surprised by his athleticism. Not that he's going to jump over anybody or anything, but he can run the floor. He can tip balls and get in there like that. That surprised me. I didn't expect as much of that as I've seen.
And he's like sneaky athletic.
Yeah.
He does not have good bounce. I will say that. If you see that alley oop, you're
he
like,
even admitted that on this show.
Yeah, right. Like he barely got over the rim on that one. But in terms of like on the floor athleticism, nothing above. Yeah, he's been fantastic, and he knows how to use his body. The great thing about him is he knows what his assets are. He knows how to use them to the best of his ability, and that's what you need. Like he's not trying to do anything out of character. He knows what he is, and he's an attribute to this team because of it.
Well, yeah, you're not going to have the moments that we had with JaVale last year.
No.
Where all of a sudden you're like, what the hell was that? Like he's fundamentally understands the game. And I actually think that's a benefit because some of those moments you'd get great JaVale stretches and then you'd have 2 or 3 of those moments that killed momentum. So.
Right. And this was something that I wrote about when he first joined the team because I was looking into his game. So I was happy to see it back last night, but he has a low-key, pretty effective post game. He has a couple of moves off the dribble. He's not Hakeem Olajuwon or Kevin McHale, but he's crafty enough around there to get to his own hook shot or get to his shot with really good footwork for a guy who hasn't been playing basketball for that long. So that's something that can help engineer offense a little bit when he has a mismatch or when he has somebody that he can actually score on.
Okay. Do you think that broadcasters can contribute to teams becoming rivals?
Yes, especially when
absolutely.
You're forced to have to listen to them
Okay.
from another city. Yes. Last night made me hate the Nuggets more than I already did. It was brutal.
So I saw quite a bit of commotion on social media last night about the Denver Nuggets broadcast.
Right.
Okay, we'll start with Gerald's tweet because you even talked about it on social. You were one of the ones who had brought some stuff up. So you tweeted out, Nuggets commentators just said Monty Williams and DeAndre, in quote, haven't spoken in over a year.
In a year.
A, No. B, that's not what was reported in the first place. C, that was literally cleared up today. And D, this is how people get misinformed and blame, quote, the media. So obviously, Gerald laid it out for you guys right there. That is completely incorrect. If you're watching the show, I'm assuming you also knew that was incorrect.
Right. I get that it's preseason, but how do you get something like that so like in over a year means they haven't talked since like the start of last season? That makes no sense. And maybe it was just like he misquoted himself or misspoke, but like Dwayne had literally published that article that day, clearing the whole thing up finally that, yeah, they've been talking. And it was 4 months, not a whole fucking year. Like your one job as a broadcaster is to get that kind of shit correct. Like, how do you not? I don't know.
If they went a year without talking and won 64 games without uttering a word to each other, Monty does deserve another coach. Like, give me a break, guys. And the color commentator, I believe it was Christopher Dempsey, was it felt like he wasn't even watching the game. Like he had something else on another TV, and then he was just checking in every once in a while. It was brutal.
So go ahead.
And that's kind of what bothers me is, Hello mentioned team commentators don't care about other teams' info. I get that. That shouldn't be the case. Like, obviously you are commentating for a specific audience, but you should still know your shit as a broadcaster.
But even beyond that, like I know that the in-arena announcer called DeAndre Jordan DeAndre Ayton, but I also heard it could be we're talking about the same thing, but on Twitter, people were saying throughout the game, they heard the actual announcers on the broadcast refer to DeAndre Jordan as DeAndre Ayton.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I'm not positive on that
DeAndre Ayton
one.
versus DeAndre Ayton was a beast.
So, yeah, sure, they don't care about the other team, but they should care about their team and at least make sure names are correct.
Yeah, like, look, I get if the in-arena announcer one time screws it up. Fine, it's preseason for everybody.
Right.
But on a regular basis, on the call of the game, that's pretty bad. Lindsay, you've been in that situation. I've never broadcast a game, but I assume your producer, if you make a mistake multiple times in one game, is in your ear going, "Hey, that
no,
DeAndre
you make a
Jordan.
Mistake one time and they're in your ear,
Right?
Like you get one shot before they're like, you need to get this correct."
Yeah.
And then I feel bad for them because I'm sure the in-arena crew, the broadcasting crew, all got emails and had meetings today to talk about, let's get into mid-season form here. Yes, it happens. But the reaction of the Nuggets players all around there, I think it was Davon Reed who was in there too. And DeAndre Jordan was just like, what? Like they were so shocked. And that's not great. But back to the original question. So that was just a little chance for us to throw a little shade at Denver. Always. Always.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the Suns and the Nuggets are rivals?
Well,
in the Nuggets' mind.
Well, yeah, I think honestly, maybe I'm just a little biased now because of our company dynamic, but I would say so because look, Denver desperately wants to be where we've been. They have been closer than us for longer, but then we got to the peak faster. Like that. Like they had such a great bubble run and they're talking about possibly getting to the finals the next year, and then everything falls apart. We go to the finals. They're still crying about Jamal Murray what ifs, and now they're still where we are. Like that's exactly where they are. And so they have high expectations this year, and they should, because MPJ is back, at least right now he is, and Jamal Murray is back, and the vibes are good. But again, they've never proven it when it counts. They've never proven it, ever. Like they've gotten close, but they've never gotten to the finals. They've never won an NBA championship. Like, we'll see what happens this year. And if they get their ass swept this year with Jamal Murray and MPJ, they will never fucking hear the end of it. That's a damn promise. We will make a shirt.
A broom shirt.
Like, fuck your feelings.
Some Nuggets up.
PHNX Suns. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I've said this before. Like, I think it's one of those situations where it's kind of similar to like Suns Lakers, like Lakers fans saying like, "Oh, you're not our rival because we always beat you," which is A, untrue, and B, misses the point. Like, if you have a team that's constantly punching up at you and is looking at you as like, man, we need to beat these guys, eventually gets to the point where it is a rivalry. And because of all the trash talk between the fan bases, because they met recently in a playoff series, I do think a lot of teams hate this. Like, I would put the Pelicans in that same group. I put the Nuggets. I put the Mavs now. Like, all of these teams that we faced in the last 2 years in the playoffs, I would all consider them something of a rival now, because when you go through as heated as these playoff series are, and the social media component now as big as it's ever been, as far as blowing everything up, like the FJ Crowder shirts, or, you know, the Luka meme or the Luka special, all this stuff, like, it just creates so much animosity that the next time you see these teams, like on opening night, Twitter's going to be a toxic hellscape just because of the last things. It is, but it's amplified. Like, nobody gives a fuck if we play the Kings and something happens. But if it's the Mavs on opening night after what happened last year, like, yeah. And I think the Nuggets are in that category now.
You bring up the Luka meme. Can I be very clear? If you are not a Mavs fan, tweeting that damn photo of Luka grinning like an idiot looking at Devin Booker is not an insult to the Suns fans. It's an insult for you for thinking that somehow you can use that and call anything. I had Nuggets fans do that last night. Yeah. You didn't make it to the second round. You were at home. So you can't use that.
Sounds like it's a specific Nuggets person you're talking about.
No, because I've had a lot of people, a lot of fans, specific Nuggets fan. I'm looking at you, Eric.
Yeah.
But overall, there's been a lot of fans that have done that. I'm like, congratulations, Pelicans fans. You used a picture of somebody else beating the Suns. Like, there's two teams that I want to hear shit from: the Bucks and the Mavs. You can talk shit to us, right?
Yeah, I've never been a fan of other teams co-signing on other teams' failure because they couldn't beat us, but somebody else did.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, like, that's just so, like, come on, man, be better than that.
Bitterness.
But if the Nuggets do lose this year, I will co-sign on that.
I hate it when other people do that. Damn it, I'm gonna do it
because it's you. I'll make an exception.
Well, you know what? If a Warriors
but that's
fan,
because it's personal.
You know what? If a Warriors fan, a Celtics fan pulls that card, I get it. You made it further, fine. But when your team did not make it as far or did not make the playoffs, and you use that, you look like an idiot. All right.
Yeah.
Well, Jay said it perfectly. My boy's car is faster than yours.
Yeah.
Cool. But what about yours?
Scrubs.
There you go.
Listen, I don't know about you guys, but today is my Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And Fridays are better with Four Peaks beer. If you guys have not picked up some Four Peaks brews in the recent history, you should probably do that before this weekend so that you can have a great weekend. They've got so many different options and varieties of beers for you guys to try. You can also even just take a trip down to their brewery in Tempe, have some good food, some good beer, and some good dessert. Some
Take
very
the ghost
bomb
tour.
dessert. And what?
Do the Haunted Brewery tour.
That's true. The Haunted Brewery tours, I think they're still happening. I think it's through the month of October.
Yeah.
They're a lot of fun. We also have some really cool things that we've got planned with them that are kind of still being worked out, but just stay tuned because we'll definitely keep you guys posted as soon as all that information comes out. But again, highly recommend everything that is Four Peaks. They're an awesome company that creates awesome products. You do have to be 21 years or older to enjoy Four Peaks beer, and we ask that you enjoy responsibly, but highly recommend grabbing some Four Peaks beer to make your week just a little bit better.
You could also make your week better by winning a lot of money, just so we all know. I almost won $25,000, but the fucking Jaguars
At least
screwed
it was
me.
only $5 though.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, of course.
That's
like 14-team parlay. But like right now on the DraftKings Sportsbook app, you can use promo code PHNX. And if you deposit $5, you can win. You can get up to $200 in free bets. So it's kind of a no-brainer, especially right now during football season. There's so many bets. There's so many parlays that you can play, different prop bets that just make it fun to watch these games. You should see the environment here when we've got all the games going on the TVs. Like Johnny goes crazy like every 5 seconds. Also, he thinks every coach should get fired after 3 games. It's kind of funny. So, but like I said, you could use that promo code PHNX. It's simple. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Use promo code PHNX. And remember, minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. And we have a pick of the week.
Hey, yo, what is it?
Yeah, I was looking at NBA futures bets, and I don't really usually give a shit about the divisions because they don't mean anything. But I
Right.
found it interesting that you can bet the Suns plus 225 to win the Pacific.
Okay.
They have the third best odds out of anybody to win the Pacific.
Warriors and who else?
Warriors and Clippers. Clippers actually are the favorites right now,
Mhm.
according to DraftKings. I put some money on the Suns, and I don't know, the two behind them, the Lakers and the Kings. The Kings are a plus 40,000.
Ooh.
So if you want to just like try to
40,000?
40,000, that's
Four-
4 and 4 zeros after it.
Damn.
Wow.
Plus 40,000.
Oh man.
Like I don't think
get
it'll
why the
happen.
odds
yeah,
are
it's
that
not gonna
high.
it's not gonna
I don't
I
happen.
might just
but,
put $5 on it just to
Just
say
in
why not.
case.
They have better odds than OKC, or worse odds than OKC
To win their division?
Yeah, OKC's a plus 25,000.
Wow.
They, they have the worst of the. Oh no, the Rockets have the worst at
Damn.
plus 50,000. But
Plus 50.
like I'm a big, little risk, big reward.
Right.
So
Mhm.
putting $5 down on a plus 40,000
Mm.
with the Kings, while putting another 5 on the Suns at
Do a
plus
parlay and
225.
do them both.
You can't bet both teams to win the same division.
No, the Kings and the Rockets aren't in the
I thought
same
you meant
division.
I thought you meant the Suns and the Rockets.
No, 40
Yeah.
and 50,000? Man,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a lot of coin right
they
there.
both win. All of a sudden,
Oh
you're just
my
like,
God.
Hey,
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
out of here. Yeah,
Quitting
so
PHNX right
That
now.
would be nuts.
I like put
Bye.
a 5 spot on both of those and
Mhm.
roll the dice. Why not?
Especially if it's a free bet,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right? Like if
Mhm.
it's a free bet, what's the big deal? It's not even, you're not losing anything.
Mhm.
You could potentially gain so much and you're not even losing anything. But one more time, that's code PHNX at the DraftKings Sportsbook app. Okay, so Zach Lowe and ESPN put out the start of their annual, quote, League Pass rankings, right?
Mhm.
Where they rank all the teams in the NBA from least to most watchable.
Mhm.
Now, if you're wondering kind of how they judge this, they did share it, which I'm glad they did because I always want to know, like, what are the criteria here? Like, what are you looking at?
Mhm.
So it's based on how engaged people are when you talk about the team at a party, or if they kind of just like leave you behind to move on to other conversation. If people linger on games in case a superstar does something amazing, the style of play, the little things that matter to diehards like announcers, courts, uniforms, things of that sort, and unintentional comedy.
Mhm.
So they ranked the Suns at 14th.
Mhm.
What do you guys think about this spot? For
I
the
think that's
Suns?
about right, in my opinion.
I
Mhm.
think it's a
Yeah.
fair.
I think that's
ranking.
about right. I mean, because like when you watch the Suns, there's not one particular player that you're just like, oh my God, I can't wait to see what amazing thing he's about to do next. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
Chris Paul is probably as close as you're going to get because sometimes he'll nutmeg people and cross them over and stuff like that. D Book doesn't really do anything that's just like, holy shit, did you see this? You know what I mean? Like he's just a good fucking player.
They called him a
Like,
vintage scorer.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly. He's like Jerry West.
Mhm.
So yeah, and their system doesn't, it's not high flying. It's not, the fast break isn't like the most unbelievable thing you've ever seen. There's no pizzazz. Like, I get it. It's pretty middle of the road.
Well, first off, for me, it's pretty sad that Zach Lowe, when he goes to a party, wants to talk about basketball teams. That's your job. Get something else to talk about, Zach.
He needs a
poor,
hobby.
poor Pugs and Hugs says people do that no matter what I try to talk about.
Oh,
So-
Pugs and
so
Hugs.
I'm sorry, Pugs, but
That's tough.
I think it's about the right spot, 14. I think the Suns are kind of like the Fast and the Furious franchise right now, right?
Oh.
They got some names, they got some big names,
Mhm.
but you kind of know what to expect. Every once in a while, there'll be something that people talk about, but it is what it is. You're not breaking new ground there,
Mhm.
and that's that's what it is for me. You brought up, there's not any new stars in
Right.
this. There's not anything shiny that you gotta.
And I
tune
think
in
that was
for.
one of the biggest knocks that they had brought up when they wrote out like the reason why they ranked the Suns at 14th was we've seen and enjoyed this movie enough for now. It's not that it's a bad movie. It's a good movie. We've just seen it a few too many times. There's nothing. If you look at it like series, like on Netflix or something, it's the third season. There's no new characters. It's the same kind of storyline that we're continuing on, which is great. I'm gonna watch it, but it's not like, oh my God, I have to watch this. The minute it drops, it's like I could watch it the next day.
The Suns are basically the Friends version of streaming right now. Like every episode's solid. You know what you're gonna get. You might have a little chuckle here and there, but it's nothing that you can't miss. And there's nothing that you don't know what's coming. Like, you just know it's a good show.
Right.
And that's it.
And I think the style of play lends to that because they are a very mid-range heavy team, which unless you are like a diehard 90s, early 2000s basketball fan, is not as aesthetically pleasing as a lot of the pace and space stuff. They don't get up a ton of threes. Like we've talked about how effective Devin Booker is, but doesn't always have the highlight plays. Chris Paul's getting older now. So yeah, it is kind of, there's a lack of excitement about running it back for a team that historically disappointed last year when it won 64 games. So I get it. So like kind of just above average is good. I think maybe I would have put them a little higher just because they were a 64 win team and they win a lot of games and they play really sound, smart basketball. But there is a lot going on. I think I might have elevated them a little bit just for the tiny possibility of drama if the season doesn't start well.
The implosion
factor. Because there it is. Everybody else, that's what they seem to care about with the Suns right now. So I think there is a little more intrigue than this gives it credit for.
He brings up uniforms. We get the sunburst back, the purple sunburst, but then there's going to be turquoise, so that counteracts it too. Like,
calm down,
middle of the road for not, because this is all about non-Suns fans tuning into a team, that isn't theirs for entertainment factor. And I get it. If I'm an outsider, the Suns aren't that exciting if I don't have something in the game, some skin in the game for this team. Like that, they're just not. So I get it. Like, who'd be your guys' league pass team?
Oh God, Jesus Christ, Gilbert, come on, bro.
What?
Come. He said Warriors are number one. What can Curry do that Book can't? He can get hot from 3 too. No. He has never been Curry hot.
He's
from
never
3.
pulled from the logo.
Yeah,
right?
He's never been like insanely like, let me drop 14 threes on your head in any given moment kind of hot. He's had his moments. Yes. He's dropped 70 points, which is more than Curry's ever scored in a game. Yes. But there's a difference between Curry's hot and Booker's hot. There just is. Like, you can't, there's no denying that.
Book hasn't been Clay hot. I mean, there's
true.
2 guys on that team that can get hotter than Devin Booker. Like, I think it's the right range for them. But who would be your league pass team, like your non-Suns league pass team? Since that's the whole thought.
For me, it's still the Warriors.
Yeah,
like every time the Warriors are on,
can't go wrong with the Warriors.
I mean, every time the Warriors are on, like, listen, like the 3 ball is the 3 ball, but Steph Curry's threes are just different than everybody else's threes. Like, they just are. It's his 3-pointers are like getting dunked on sometimes. That's how deflating they are. And there's not very many other guys in the game that can do that.
Yeah, I've got a couple. I mean, obviously Warriors are always entertaining just because you got the Splash Brothers, and they do have some younger guys who are going to be interesting to watch moving forward. Not even talking about the Draymond Green, Jordan Poole stuff. But also like the Pelicans and Timberwolves both kind of intrigue me in terms of Pelicans getting Zion back and being a young team on the rise with Willie Green. Timberwolves adding Rudy Gobert. How the hell is that going to work?
Well, I think that's the car crash there, that one.
It could be, but also they have Anthony Edwards, so it's like that's still a fun team.
I love Anthony Edwards.
He's great to watch.
I think he is so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
I do too, but I just 2 centers, 2 big guys like that barely worked in a time where big men dominated the game. They're totally zigging while the rest of the league zagging.
Yeah, but none of those bigs could shoot the way Cat does. So it's a little different. And I do think like Cat might struggle guarding 4s, but if you wanted anyone in the league to cover up for that kind of flaw, it would probably be a guy like Gobert.
I think there's a lot of boom or bust potential. Like where they could be really great, or it could be just a horrible disaster of an experiment, which makes them the perfect league pass team from that standpoint. You mentioned the Pels too; they're high on my list because they're SI's touting Zion 2.0. What does this guy look like? Does he make it through a season? Does he still have the athletic burst? Does this team mature and ride that wave, or do they crash after what was a valiant effort in round 1? I'm interested in that.
I'm not I think the Pels are going to be the disaster this year. I think they've got a lot of momentum coming in based off of how they played the Suns last year. I think there's a lot of hype about Zion coming back, and that's going to be the thing that turns the corner for them. I just feel like it's going to be a train wreck. Something bad's going to happen with that team. Zion isn't going to mesh well, or whatever the case may be. Like, either that or they're going to be the best team in the league.
Boomer bust for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I would also say in the East, I got Cavs and Hawks are two.
I like the Cavs.
Fun
The Cavs are
teams.
solid.
Cavs
just
are a
added.
fun team to root for right now.
They're young. They were fun before the Donovan Mitchell trade. Now they're more fun. And then the Hawks, DeJounte Murray, like they got a lot of young
They
guys
signed
too.
Sexton again, right?
No,
He's
in
on the
Utah.
Jazz now because they traded.
Oh, that's
him.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
They traded him. That's right.
Look, I don't need to watch Walmart Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell. So I do like Cleveland's new logo, some of their uniform stuff, their young core, but I don't need to watch Donovan Mitchell. That just doesn't interest me. Somebody in the chat said the implosion of the Brooklyn Nets. I'm definitely down for. Hello said that. I'm definitely down for watching a little of that. I think that's going to be a unique dumpster fire, honestly. So.
I like watching the Grizzlies. I know we've talked about it, like Jaw and his highlights is why he sometimes gets more love than Devin, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, it really is. And I do enjoy a team that's kind of like we got to experience here in Phoenix, going from kind of the bottom of the barrel, rising to the top of the totem pole. It's fun as you're on your way up. And I feel like the Grizzlies and their fan base are probably enjoying it a lot right now because they're becoming really relevant again.
Right. And it might be short-lived, unfortunately, because they lost some key players
Right.
over the summer.
But still, like
yeah.
Jaw's a pretty fun player.
Oh, yeah,
Who's
absolutely.
the worst team on your list that you just would not tune in for?
I wouldn't tune into a Kings game.
Yeah, 1,000,000% not the Kings.
I would rather watch them than the Spurs this year.
Yeah.
Like they're.
I
gonna be
wouldn't watch a
awful.
Mavs game out of principle.
And the Jazz.
Unless
Oh,
it's against the
that's
Suns.
fair.
I'm not watching the Mavs play.
Or the Magic.
Not the Jazz. I'll watch the Mavs. I won't watch the Spurs or the Jazz.
The Jazz, when you mix that lack of talent and then those god awful uniforms that'll burn your retina,
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good choice.
Yeah.
What I love is that, like, I just love how the Utah fan base was so adamant about Mitchell being better than Booker, and now they're one of the worst teams in the league.
Right.
You deserve it.
Your
Karma.
slander deserved this.
But they have
Karma.
14 first-round picks, so
Well, the
Yeah.
thing that makes me even happier is the fact that after you watch your shitty game, you have to go outside into your shitty city.
Oh, you bringing the heat, Saul? Damn.
I fucking hate Salt Lake City so much. The fact that the NBA All-Star Game is there.
It's tragic.
Oh my God. If we go, what the fuck are we going to do past 7 p.m.?
Have a
Nothing.
sody pop.
Oh my
One of their dirty
gosh.
sody pops.
I don't
Is
think
that
we
what-
have
is that a
caffeine
thing?
that late in Salt Lake.
Oh my God.
sit by a fire because it's going to be damn cold in February.
Oh,
yeah.
That's
That's
just.
Why did they choose?
That's the
there?
only thing you can do in Utah is go skiing. Like that's the only thing. Let me get this. Let's get this right. It's a beautiful city.
Out,
Yeah.
Like the mountains and the snow and like where the setting is. It's just such a disaster that they had to ruin that city by putting all these time limits on everything out there. You can't even get a burger past 8:00. You have to go home and make your own food in a hotel. It's
Wait for real.
shit. Yeah, dude. Everything shuts
It
down at
all
like
shuts
8.
down really early.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
terrible.
I was there for the tournament, and we'd be lucky if something was open past 9 outside of like a fucking Village Inn.
Not Village Inn.
Yes.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So we're not going to Utah.
I mean,
We'll see.
Apparently,
We'll see.
we're not getting Village Inn as a sponsor.
Jay with the super chat. Love the Utah slander. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you,
Jay
Jay.
said, "I will pay you to continue talking shit about Utah."
This is now just a Utah slander podcast.
Oh,
It's
man.
always been a Utah slander podcast.
No, that's all we're doing. No more Suns talk.
Just one last thing on the watchability ranking. Rach in the chat said she loves listening to EJ and K-Ray and not the other broadcasts. And then Charles said they did get a little bit of love in that article. Charles said, "Is Al McCoy coming back?" Yes, Al McCoy will be back.
Yes,
It's
doing
impressive what he has been able to do in his career.
home games only. John Bloom will be on the call for the road games. They actually moved Al and and the radio broadcast this year. They're not courtside now.
Oh, really?
They're upstairs. So we're not going to get the really weird old lady sticking her head between K-Ray and
Did they swap 'em?
EJ on that fish island.
They did
Yeah,
swap 'em?
they swapped them so we don't get those weird shots when they come back to the broadcast.
That was the most uncomfortable thing ever.
You know, I bet you they did that on purpose, like last year, giving Al 1 year
Yeah.
in the nice, brand new, renovated arena courtside. Because every other arena, for the most part, your radio broadcasters are actually in a suite.
Yeah.
So they're not even like mid lower bowl. They're in a suite.
Yeah.
But Al always wanted to be as close as possible because he said on the road at times it was harder for him to see what was happening.
Mhm.
And just because out of respect of Al's career, I'm sure the Suns were like, we'll give you a season courtside here in a brand new Suns arena so you get to enjoy it a little bit. And then they probably swapped the two
I
of
think
them.
they just heard us making fun of that shot that they had last year and went, yeah, we need to change that.
Yeah. Hey, here's these two guys up in the suite level right next to Nana.
Oh, no. I love how Josh is taking the Utah slander so gently. He's like, I'll be your tour guide. Don't worry. I'll show you some of the cool things. And
That's
the cool
not what he
things
said.
Are,
The church
you got to be
museums.
here. You got to be here to know what he said. You
The
gotta be here
hottest
to know what
church
he said.
history museum. This place has everything. 7 p.m. curfews.
Oh my gosh.
The best water you can get anywhere.
Oh my gosh. I don't want to go down this road because I'm inevitably about to say something fucked up,
Yeah,
and
we
I'm
can't.
not taking the bait on this one. Nope. You guys can be left to your own devices. I am seeing myself out.
Fair enough.
Apparently,
fair enough.
everyone popped in OGs before the show, and they are now starting to kick in because things are getting a little bit weird
The
around
Village
these
Inn.
parts.
Jesus. Oh my God.
If you guys haven't checked out OGs, highly recommend you check them out. They have really great products, and they just launched their brand new Sleep Edition gummy. And these are a 2-to-1 THC to CBN gummy ratio. And CBN, as I've told you before, is a compound that helps specifically with falling and staying asleep. So it's great if you really need a good night's rest. And this Sleep Edition gummy is also in their new aquaberry flavor, which I might say
There's so many
is
things going in my head
delightful.
right now I can't talk about.
Highly recommend you guys check them out online at ogsbrands.com, on Instagram at ogsbrands, and you can also find their products at your local dispensary. But you must be 21 years or older to purchase. Did we get an OG's delivery during the show?
Yeah.
There we
Hell
go.
Yeah, nice little golf
Hey.
towel.
Wrap the OGs.
Got some golf towels.
Let's go, baby.
Not,
What
not
else did
available
they
in
drop
Salt Lake
off?
City.
No.
Let me look at the partners tab. Oh, fun. They brought us a restock of some great products, some stickers, some golf towels.
Mhm.
Shout out to OG's.
Let's go, baby.
Thanks, guys.
This is kind of sweet right here.
Is it soft? Let me-
It is nice and
Oh,
soft.
yeah. That's a nice
The
towel.
hottest
If you want it in the
Club
chat, maybe we can just ask a question and the first
Salt
one to
Lake
answer it gets it.
What's the question?
Nope.
I don't know. Let's think. How much time we got left?
We have like 10 minutes.
Okay, I'll come up with a question.
Okay. Saul's going to come up with a question. While he comes up with that question, let me tell you guys about Game Time. So Game Time is really awesome if you are a procrastinator or if you're super spontaneous, because when you buy tickets last minute using the Game Time website, and more specifically, the link we're going to drop in the chat and put in the description of this show, you can save up to 60% on tickets. So why would you buy your tickets literally anywhere else, you guys? So the best way to support us is by buying your tickets through the link in the description. And Saul has tested this out personally.
Yes.
Yes, you can get really great deals 3 to 4 days out from your event, but you can get even better deals sometimes the day of the event because they've got extra tickets and they want to make sure they can move them. I mean, we saw preseason game tickets
For $1.
$1.
$1.
You can get into tomorrow's Kings game
Mhm.
for $4.
Let's go.
$4.
$4.
I have a question too. So
Okay, you ready for it? So
Yeah.
one more time, use the Game Time link. Again, if you're here on YouTube, we put it in the chat. If you're listening to us wherever you listen to your podcast, it is in the description. We appreciate your guys' support. Go ahead, Saul.
yesterday we celebrated my guy Gerald's engagement,
We did.
and we even mentioned this particular thing. What's Gerald's fiance's name?
Oh, Okay. I feel like this is an easy one.
Okay.
She was
all the
she was
time.
even in the chat.
Yes,
so
she was.
first person to drop that name gets this OG's golf
Just first name.
towel.
Okay.
We don't need to go.
Charles.
Hello.
Charles wins.
Hello
Where?
was
I didn't even see
was
it.
the name.
It's
Oh,
not
I
even
saw
up on the
right
screen.
here, Charles.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
wow.
no,
Charles
it's
dropped it first.
it is
He did.
Charles.
Look at all that.
Look at
Congratulations,
Charles.
Well done,
All
everyone.
right, Charles, this is
But
yours.
look at all you guys.
Look at you
You're on
guys.
top
Listen
of
to
it.
the
You
show.
guys actually caring
So
about
proud.
us as human beings.
Mrs. Girth. You're close, Coda Kid. Close.
All right,
Close.
Charles.
Should you be worried that everybody knows this so quickly?
She thought it was funny, so we're good with it.
All right.
Charles, DM Saul to get your towel. Okay?
Yes.
All right. Couple things that we saw on the internet today. First and foremost, we got a tweet from Shams shortly before the show started saying the Houston Rockets are waving forward Mo Harkless. Sources tell The Athletic and Stadium. Harkless, 29, will enter free agency as a 10-year NBA vet. Yes, no.
This is
Should
a
the
name when you
Suns
first
make
hear
a
it.
move?
And you go, oh, yeah, Mo Harkless. I know that name. And he's available. And then you look at the stats, you go, I'm okay. Thanks, though.
Yeah, it's I kind of did the same thing. I think he still would be useful. Like, he's a 6'7", 6'8" forward. He can play that small ball 4 a little bit, help defensively switch a couple positions. But yeah, if you look just at his numbers, like, he's kind of bounced around from team to team. Sacramento the last 2 years, doesn't play a ton and doesn't put up great numbers. Career 32% shooter from 3. So he's not helping you, but as the 15th guy on the roster, not terrible, just not anyone I'd get excited about either.
Yeah, just hard pass. Just like Utah. Hard pass.
Well, there you go. We figured since it was topical and people were already starting to discuss it, we would bring it up, but it is as simple as that. I think we're all in agreement that,
Pretty
Eh.
much. Yeah.
Hello
Yeah.
just made a Gerald joke.
What do you say?
Hello said, I'm more of a
Or
curly than a Mo. Like, you're making 3 students. That's like 100 years old. Like, I make bad jokes, but like, come on, Hello.
I was like, Espo, is that a Gerald joke or is that a you
I enjoy
joke?
it. Yeah. I don't
Gerald
know.
got the reference. I'll
I
tell
did
you
get
that
the
much.
reference.
Yeah,
Unfortunately.
I think that is more of an Espo joke. To be fair. Right?
I think so.
Give do the phrase. You know what they would always say after they do something.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
See? Gerald knew. I
Damn
knew
it, Gerald.
I knew it, but I
Damn it,
just wanted
Gerald.
to do
He
it.
was trying to be quiet on purpose. He set you up for failure.
knew it.
Damn it.
Oh, I knew it.
He knew
I know, I knew it.
100%.
Oh, I watched the
my
student.
Let the whole team down, Gerald.
And then finally, you guys, Espo has really big feelings about this one. So Espo,
Oh,
I will let you take this one away.
I reserve the F word for very important things on this show. What in the actual fuck is this that they're selling on the Suns team shop? Nike made this shirt. The same people that are making the jerseys. And I don't know what the hell this is, but it's not the purple sunburst Suns logo. It looks like somebody jacked up a Photoshop file and just pulled that thing up into the corner. The burst, it looks like a cone head. Like, what the hell is that thing?
Yeah.
Okay, so for all you listeners on Suns.com shop, there is a jersey T-shirt. It's the 90s burst, right? Like a T-shirt jersey.
Kind of.
But the actual burst part,
Yeah,
like
one
the
of the flames.
sun beam, goes basically all the way from the chest, where it normally would stop at, like, I feel like the armpit area. It literally goes like all the way up to the top of the shoulder. It's just like one really extra spicy beam of a sun.
It looks like a goddamn traffic cone on the shoulder of the shirt.
I have never in my life met anybody that is so passionate about uniform and logo design. I've never met anybody like you, man.
It's stupid. Like, if you bought that shirt and walked around, I'm sorry, but you're not a fan unless you're wearing it ironically and you make that very clear.
You know, that's the thing that's craziest about it, is it looks like a knockoff shirt that is actually being sold and purchased from a reputable source.
True, Charles.
Very
It is a
interesting.
sun's blast, not a sun's burst.
It is totally.
Look, people, the jersey makers on those cheesy sites that you can get them for $35, look at this and go, what the hell? Even we do better than that.
Yeah.
And this is Nike. Nike made this shirt.
I'm hoping that it was just like an accident.
I mean, is it really that bad?
What did their graphic designer sneeze while they were doing it?
Put that picture up back one more time, please. I feel like
it's awful.
So look at it.
It looks like,
Look at it.
you know, like when they were first coming out with computers and like programming stuff on computer. It looks like somebody drew that up. Like it looks like in Tron when they change directions.
And
Like,
it'd be one thing if, like, you know how like the beams that, I don't know, the stripes underneath the suns, if it was all level with the burst, then maybe you could say it was like a design choice, but it's like,
it's
take a
missing spikes on
left.
it. It's just, it's the laziest thing. Nobody quality checked this, and this is the official NBA store selling it.
yeah.
Sorry, I just
I
that
just want to
stuff.
go on the record, Espo, and say I vehemently agree with you. It's one of the worst things I've ever seen.
Like, how? Yeah, that's.
I mean, I wouldn't
can't
buy
even.
it, but I mean,
Well, and
it's
that's
not
the
like
thing.
egregious.
It's $34.99. So
Yeah.
you're going to tell me I'm going to pay $35 for a shirt that looks like a knockoff shirt that I should be able to get for $7 at a pop-up shop on the side of the corner?
That's the
Or corner
problem.
of the
It's
street?
like there's no originality to that shirt whatsoever. That's what I don't like about it. And the fact that they would charge $35 for that shirt, that is a severe problem. That shirt should be $5 maybe.
Here's
My
the questions no one's asking is why? Like, why? It's not like special enough for it to be a cool shirt. Like,
No, it's
hardly
supposed
anything
to be
different.
real.
It just looks bad.
Right. It's a jersey that's
It's supposed to be a
that's
jersey.
fucked up in the front.
My 5-year-old draws the Suns logo better than that
Oh.
by hand.
And
Well,
probably by memory, too.
Yes.
it's tough.
I might buy that just to wear it on the show just because it's so freaking stupid.
There's a child labor joke here that I'm not going to say.
Let's not do that. Don't buy that shit.
Fire right
Do
for
not
Joe
give
and Saul.
them a
Dude.
single dollar for that
Yeah.
garbage. Don't you dare.
And also, don't volunteer your daughter to draw for the Suns.
Oh,
until
Daddy's
the end
already
of the
been an
season.
employee there. Daughter doesn't need to. All right.
Wait until the end of the season when they try and sell that thing for $5 because nobody bought it
Oh,
because
yeah.
of what it looks like,
Yeah.
and then you can buy that thing.
It's tough.
Icon has it right. When you order a Suns jersey on Wish, that's exactly what that is.
Yeah,
100%.
hmm
Oh my gosh, fantastic. Okay, well, we just wanted to end with a little bit of an Espo rant because Espo rants can sometimes be really, really, really fun, at least for all of us.
I think I had an aneurysm just looking at that thing.
Thank you guys for joining us. These three guys will hold it down the rest of the week. I'll see you on Monday, but until we see each other again, you can follow me on Twitter at LindsaySmithAZ. You can follow Saul at Saul_Bookman. You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget. And of course, you can follow Espo at Espo.
Bye,
Espo, take us
Lindsay.
home.
Hope you find your dad.
What in the hell are you doing, Nike?
Hey yo, my
Enjoy
lifestyle
your
is retro. Tell the Phoenix
Oh, yeah.
Metro. Megas in control and he ain't never gonna let go. PHNX though, Lindsay, Gerald, Espo. Saw past the ball, we here to turn up the tempo. Got to understand me, I'll always rep the family. Rally in the valley like Dan G, no plan B. Always on the job, my team move like the mob. Turn the beat on, I throw it down like DA on the live. Best combo since KJ, Marley, and Charles. If you squad, just sitting on the chat.